Operation Sindoor was a big success for India's military, for our soldiers, for our weapons and for our military leadership. It's easy to feel complacent after such a win. Thankfully, India is not going down that road. Instead, it is doubling down to build on this recent success. And leading the charge is India's Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Amar Preet Singh. He spoke at a business event in New Delhi today. He started off by hailing Operation Sindoor. He called it a national victory. Then the Air Chief turned to making in India. He said weapons must be designed, developed and produced at home, which is where the defense industry comes in. The military must be able to trust the Indian arms makers, their quality and their reliability. The Air Chief used Bollywood to explain his point. He borrowed a dialogue from actor Salman Khan, and this is what he said.
We need to have this trust between the forces and the industry continued. We need to have the communication continued. We need to be open with each other. That एक बारी जो हमने commit किया है, फिर मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता, है ना, वो वाले.
The message is clear. If you commit to something, it must be done, and that too on time. Unfortunately, this is not happening at the moment. India's defense deliveries are running behind schedule, especially those of fighter jets. Again, the Air Chief did not hold back. He said not a single project had been completed on time.
Once a timeline is given, not a single project that I can think of has been completed on time. So this is something where we have to look at. Why should we promise something which cannot be achieved? While signing the contract itself, some of the times we are sure that it is not going to come up. But we just sign the contract. Uske baad dekhenge kya karna.
And this is not his first warning. Air Chief Singh had flagged the same issue in February as well. He spoke about the delays in Tejas jets. Now, Tejas is India's homegrown fighter jet. It is made by the state-run HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The Air Chief said he had no confidence left in HAL. And you can see why. The Tejas Mark 1 deliveries have been delayed. The Mark 2 prototype has not rolled out yet, and the 5th generation has just been approved. It looks like the government has noted this issue because they've made a big change this time. Normally, all jet orders go directly to HAL, but for the 5th gen jet, the government is inviting private players as well. Clearly, there is an attempt to diversify, and we say it's a good move. HAL was virtually operating as a monopoly in India's jet space, and that too a state-run monopoly. It was important to inject some competition into the space, not to dethrone HAL, but to nudge them. Coming back to the Air Chief's remarks, he made another crucial point on research and development.
One is R&D budget. I think it has very clearly been brought out by everybody that we need to invest more. If I think people from Punjabi community will understand something called Daswant, that we said 10% of our earnings should go back towards the society. So something like that CSR has been started. I think something on those lines we should start, that if I'm earning so much of money should go towards R&D, towards defense of the nation.
Now let's look at the numbers. India uses around 5 to 6% of its defense budget on R&D, on research and development, 5 to 6%. All this money goes to the DRDO, which is the Defense and Research Development Organization. It's a state-run R&D lab for Indian weapons, and they get 5 to 6% of the defense spending. Let's compare it to others. The US allocates between 11 and 14%. China allocates up to 20% of its defense budget on research and development. So the gap is considerable. Now, to be fair, the government is working on it. The DRDO chief made an announcement today. He said the defense minister had promised to boost his funding from 5% to 10% within 5 years. It's a good start, but more needs to be done. Some experts have proposed a special R&D fund. Right now, all this money goes to the state-run DRDO, as I just said. But what if you could also fund private research or a defense startup? That's how the American defense industry grew. Even today, the Pentagon, their defense ministry, pumps millions into the private sector. And in China, it's the opposite. You have state-run designers and manufacturers in China. Ideally, India should aim for the middle, to do a bit of both. The heavy lifting will have to be done by our public sector companies, but the private sector must also step up. They can supply parts and components. They can also keep the these state-run firms on their toes. Like the Air Chief said, it's all about your commitment. Delays in weapons are more than just administrative issues. They could be the difference on the battlefield.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka kaiju.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.